or bigger, whatever, filled with rainwater. And let's say that Dennis needs to borrow some water. I have a whole lot to give him out of this bucket rather than that other one. If I had that little tiny one, I might actually be afraid. Well, I don't have very much, but that's what we do a lot of times. I don't have enough to give. If we open ourselves to receive, now we've got more to give. And check this out. So let's say I give him half of this. Here, honey, take half of one. Now, I have all this space to receive again. I see a lot of heads going like this. And I really want that to sink in because that's what people get afraid of. If I give it to you, I don't have enough now. Rather than what I want us to think of is, now I've got all this space to receive again. You cannot outgive the source. You cannot give God, is how we say it. You cannot give that source. I've got halfway now to fill back up. As we give, rather than thinking of it as, I'm not going to have enough now, we can think, hey, I look at all this space that I can receive more. Shift of mindset. What we want to do is consciously receive and consciously give. Giving is not a religious mandate around here. Some churches, yeah, but not this time. Giving is not a duty. Receiving is not about manipulating anything. It's just a natural part of how we were created. Giving and receiving consciously now opens us up to a greater flow of good. When we give because we think we have to, it's not the right energy, not the right mindset. We give because it feels really good. When we receive, not out of a, oh, well, I couldn't really receive that, I couldn't really take that. When we're holding ourselves back, it's also not the right mindset. And I know that's hard. I feel it too. People want to give stuff to me and it's like, oh, thank you. Because sometimes, oh, no, you really don't need to give me that. They just gave me that. Why not receive it? Consciously giving, consciously receiving. Keeps us in the flow of all our good. Now, I can't talk about giving and receiving without including this little word that a lot of people grew up with, this word called tithing. If that just made your butt pucker when I said that, it's exactly why we need to say it. So let me say this first. Again, this particular philosophy does not require it. It was taught in biblical times. It's still, for Jewish and Christian people, still a big tenet of their teachings. Tithing actually means 10%. Sometimes it was a tax. But if we just look at it as a tool, a teaching tool, the idea for me is this. 10% when I first started to do it was big enough to make my butt pucker. It was big enough to scare me. When you think, oh, they're asking me to consider giving 10% of my income. When that first was taught to me, it's like, that's scary. Because of what I just said. It feels like if I give it, I don't have it. If I say instead, I'm going to give it, and I know it's going to be refilled because I can't outgive God, now it's not so scary. Here's how I started it. 2%. Hey, the world didn't fall apart. Hey, I didn't go broke. Hey, I'm actually starting to receive. Let me try a little more. Try 5%. Hey, that happened. I didn't, nothing bad happened. As a matter of fact, good started to happen. And more good and more good. Jumping from 5 to 7, and then to 10 was like, hey, I've taken these little baby steps to get there. 10% was no big deal. I bring it up because if right now, when I mention this whole idea of 10%, I'm not asking you to do it, I'm asking you to think about what's going on inside of you. If that freaks you out, that's where you know your work is to be done. To believe that you receive. So that pretty soon, that 10% is like, yeah. Because you get it proved to yourself with the 2% or the 5% or however, you get it proven that it actually works. And pretty soon it's not that scary anymore. It doesn't matter, here's how some ministers say, you have to give to where you're spiritually fed. No, you don't. It doesn't matter where you give. It matters that you give. All right? This is a really good idea to give here, for sure. Because like Janet always said, I'm selfish. I want this place here for me. That's what it requires. But really, it's are you in the flow? Are you in the flow? So I only throw that out there just to get you thinking and get you feeling, where is my fear level and where is my belief level? And as we move towards the greater and greater and greater belief level, we move into higher levels of being willing to share, because we know there's that much more room now for it to be filled back up and then some. And tithing becomes training wheels after a while. Now in this discussion of giving, don't forget yourself. You need to give to yourself. Whatever that means. That might mean a savings account, a retirement account. That might mean treating yourself to a nice dinner. That might mean any manner of tools. I'm going to invite Bonnie DeChego to come up because she's going to share with us a practice, a tool that she started doing that I think is brilliant. Give her some love.
How many weeks in a year? 52. Okay, this is week 4. At the end of 2015, I accumulated $1,440 because what I did, the number of the week, this is week 4, for every week I added that amount of money into a very special folder that I consider to be my joyful and triumphant fund.
So you started with $1.
I started with $1. Today is week 4. So with reverence and gratitude and love, I'm going to add $4 to my special envelope.
What'd you call it? Joy and what?
My joyful and triumphant.
Joyful and triumphant.
And in December, in the 52nd week of December, in this envelope will be $1,400 and some odd dollars.
Wow.
On week 10, you put in $10. On week 11, you put in $11, etc., all the way through. So by the time you get to December, you're putting in $52.
It's like compounded interest.
Yes.
So if you want to start tomorrow or today, I always do it on Sunday, you need $10 right now. And that'll get you to week 4. So next week is week 5, and I'm going to put in $5.
Yeah. You can do this.
And then 6, and then 7.
And then 6, and then 7. So the most challenging month is December, because that's week, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. So you just have to, set your mind to do that. So everything you want is on the other side of fear. So if that's my challenge to you, I'll just suggest one other challenge. If this is if this is like the 10% you only want to go 2, try the penny strategy. So how many days in the year? 365. So on the first day, you put in 1 penny. On the second day, you put in 2 pennies. On the third day, you put in 3 pennies. And at the end of the year, you'll have over $600.
Wow.
And if you want to start today, you need $3.
Bonnie is on the abundance team who helped me plan this. And when she told me that she did that, I'm like, that's brilliant. And that's easy. So if you're doing the dollar, it's by the week. If you're doing the penny, it's by the day. When she told me she had almost $1,500, because if you do the math, 1, 3, 6, 10, you see how that exponential growth happens. I'm like, that is brilliant. Now, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you've given yourself almost $1,500. That is the perfect moment, right then and there, to say, and how shall I give some? How shall I share some? Because now you've proven to yourself, wow, this wasn't that hard to do, and then you can give at that particular point. All right, Margaret, will you come up and share your